Town of Brunswick Planning Board for September 7th, 2023. Everybody please rise for the pledge of allegiance. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Okay, our agenda tonight, as it was posted on the town website and the town board, is as follows. Number one, Art, waiver of subdivision. Applicant seeks to subdivide 3.30 acres from a 10.74 acre parcel to create a new residential lot at the end of Langmore Lane. Michael Hart is the applicant. Number two, Marie's Muse LLC, site plan. Applicant seeks to construct a drive-through restaurant and retail building on the eastern portion of the site and a second drive-through restaurant on the western portion of the site at 727, 737 Hoosick Road and 4 Mohawk Avenue. Marie's Muse LLC is the applicant. Number three, Golden Grain Pizza, site plan. Applicant seeks to redevelop an existing building into a pizza restaurant at 585 Hoosick Road. Zephyr Hawk is the applicant. And number four, Golden Special Use Permit. Applicant seeks approval for an accessory apartment in a single-family home on property located at 318 Pinewoods Avenue. Charles Golden and Donna Golden are the applicants. Okay. Our first business matter is the review of the minutes of prior meeting on August 17th. Does everybody have an opportunity to review those? Is there any corrections, additions, amendments that have to be made? Okay, hearing none, I'll make a motion that the minutes be approved as they were submitted. Is that a second? Second. Any further discussion? All those in favor? Any opposed? Thank you. Okay, first on our agenda is the Art waiver of subdivision.
Mr. Holbritter has asked if we could be later because he has a meeting at 7 o'clock in Pittstown.
Okay. Okay, moving along. Number two, Marie's Muse LLC.
Moving up in the agenda with football on tonight, that's not a bad
Yeah,
thing.
there you go. Okay.
As long as you can watch it. Right, not everybody can watch it.
It's on ESPN.
All right. At our last meeting, just to review, I just have a couple of notes that the lead agency coordination is aware at this point.
Certainly, we're past the 30 days. To my knowledge, no other involved agency has objected to the planning board serving as lead agency. So certainly at a point where you can declare yourselves lead agency, you can let people know.
Okay. That's probably something we should do first and later, is that?
Well, that's fine. Yeah.
Okay. Do you have any questions on the lead agency coordination?
No objection.
Okay. Then I will entertain a motion to declare us lead agency on this project.
I'll make a motion.
I'll second.
Any further discussion? Any further questions? All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay. In conjunction with that, we would also be having a joint public hearing with the ZBA, because there are some variances that you have to get through the ZBA. So once we have that established, we can schedule the public hearing. Okay. I believe there were some questions on the traffic study. Wayne, you made some recommendations, and then today we received a counter from Craig Manning on
Yeah, Craig
comments
Manning
here.
completed their review of the traffic study submitted by Bowler.
Yeah,
It was a pretty comprehensive review. I don't really have any comments on the review. I was waiting for the applicants to review them. And then if they have any response to any of the issues brought up by Craig Manning or any questions that they provide them to me and we get them resolved.
Sure, so I can provide a quick update on that if you'd like.
sure.
Tim Frantz with Bowler Engineering, here on behalf of the applicant. We did receive Creighton Manning's memo. The traffic engineer is reviewing it. It did require some updates to the technical data in the report. So he's going through those updates right now just to confirm there's no significant impact. The gut feeling right now is there's no significant impact. I don't think anybody wants us to move our driveway anywhere else on the site. It's going to be a fourth leg of the signal. It's just really down to how that signal is going to operate through the technical review here. I will say this is one review. At the end of the day, it's really going to be up to DOT. They're going to have a more comprehensive review of that study, and this is just a good step forward for the traffic study. Craig Manning did provide some comments on the site plan, and that's really what I wanted to discuss tonight with this board, because it was on premises, on property comments outside of the traffic signal. That was important, I think, to this board to understand. And I just wanted to talk through that with you before we update the rest of the drawings. So the most impactful comment was in regards to circulation on the eastern portion of the site. Previously, we had two-way flow in front of the building, and the concern here is not necessarily guests coming in, but guests leaving. So this was an allowed left turn movement right here, and the concern that they brought up is valid, that if you have two cars stacked right here, this left turn is blocked, and the concern is somebody would have to make that movement and stop in the oncoming traffic lane. So they would position themselves kind of right here, blocking incoming traffic that could potentially back up onto Lucid Road. So we agreed with that finding. I brought an updated render to show the board tonight what the modification, eliminating that left movement would look like. At their suggestion, we angled the parking in front of the store, have one-way circulation in the front, back around the back of the building, and everybody would egress these parking spaces and the drive-through through the back of the site. This is good because if this does begin to stack up beyond this driveway, you have a much longer throw for people trying to leave the site. Any questions on the circulation there? Feedback? Everybody in agreement that that's probably better for the site?
Well, just as a comment, I think Dunkin' Donuts ran into that same problem. And they, with their site there, you pull in immediately on the right and you have to go around and it was to avoid that person from exiting there and going across that lane. So we do have an example of that and it seems to work. So, yeah, I'm okay with that.
Did you modify the exit for the drive-through for that one to make it so that they're only turning?
We did, so we modified the curve here. It's hard to tell a little bit here, but it is, the alignment is angled to the left to force everybody out to the left.
Did you lose any parking spaces by handling?
We did, we lost, I believe, 4 up front. We're still compliant through the regulation. Only 37 is required, we're at 48. sort of fine from that aspect. We actually picked up 2 more in the back here. So this changed a little bit in the back of the site as well. We used to have this stop condition here, and this movement was kind of forced to stop here and turn around. This is a dead-end parking lot back here. We pulled the stop condition to here. It allows anybody traveling back here who can't find a parking spot to maneuver, turn around, do your turn, get back out of the site if needed.
Now, just to clarify something, the restaurant portion is the one furthest east.
Correct.
And then you listed the other one as a retail, possible retail.
Correct.
Would any occupant other than a retail possibly affect that parking requirement? Maybe it was like a medical office or something like that?
Yeah, we had looked at that previously, and there was thought that it was going to be a medical office. That's since changed. Now it's probably retail. I have to go back and check, but I think the retail is the heavier parking demand requirement than medical use, but I can confirm that. So this would be the more conservative approach, which makes sense, you know, from a retail perspective. Medical use is an office space. You have appointments to go there. It's scheduled. For retail, you could get a flush of patrons, you know, at a busy hour of the day.
Do they have any potential tenants there?
They do,
I mean, I'm not asking who they are, but.
yeah, no signed lease yet. They're in conversation with both occupants.
Okay.
Once they have a signed lease, they'd be willing to disclose it.
The smaller restaurant is not go in and sit down? It's just drive-through?
No, they do have indoor dining, and then it's a unique drive-through where it's mobile order or order ahead and just pick up. There's no orders in the lane. There's no menu board or speaker box. It's just pick up.
Made no changes to the other.
To the other lot. There were some other comments in the report. I assume everybody received a copy of that memo. There were other recommendations like a bike rack, pedestrian connectivity to Hoosick Road. Those are all being addressed. We'll provide a formal response to that letter, including those additional requested elements. So once the traffic study is updated, from the traffic engineer, we'll provide a response to comments letter going through each comment, how we plan to address it. In our next submission, we'll also update the full drawing set with this revision in the parking lot. We'll update the stormwater narrative, issue drainage report to review based on these changes as well. But all the other comments didn't affect site plan or layout. That was just the big one that I wanted to bring to everybody's attention.
What are you gonna do with your storm water?
Stormwater, so we're gonna have 2 separate systems. This is the lowest part of the site, so this is the design point in this bottom corner. There is some topography that continues up and grade back behind the site, so we're gonna accommodate some divergent ditches in the back to make sure that stormwater is not coming out to our site, into our system. We're gonna collect stormwater here, do an underground infiltration system here. Stormwater in the back, we'll have an underground infiltration system here, and then discharged out to the storm sewer.
Bill Bradley said they can handle it, infiltrating there.
Can or can't?
Cannot.
There's been questions about the high water table on the site and just how much, underground infiltration you're gonna be able to do.
So we're doing geotechnical borings right now to find the groundwater elevation, and then we'll be doing on-site infiltration testing. And we have to call Bill Bradley when we do that to meet him on site, go through that.
After the rain we had, I can't imagine it will be much worse than conditions are right now.
Yeah, and if you actually look at this corner, this, call it a yard, it's a front yard. is submerged below grade of the road right now. And all of this stormwater actually runs to that point today. At our last meeting, it was raining here, and I stopped over there afterwards, and the yard was empty, with no puddling or ponding there. So it's a good idea that there's some infiltration going on. We'll certainly go verify that.
I mean, it's, in regards to the larger restaurant, I think we all know, from the information you gave it, it's a Chick-fil-A. I was over, and this is just a note to figure out how we're gonna handle this grand opening of this. Last night I was over on Route 4 around 8:30. Every one of the lanes for that Chick-fil-A will wrap around that stuff. I'm not so sure that that site is any better laid out than that one is over there. I have some concerns about that. Because that's one of the big problems you're gonna have, or comments, I should say, at a public hearing.
Clifton Park is worse. Clifton Park backs up right off their property, adjacent parcel.
Yeah, those two locations opened in July. We're about a month and a half in. Mid-month will be 2 months in. Right out of first market opening. We're learning every day on how those are operating. This will be third, fourth, or fifth to market location. Hopefully that initial peak newness to the capital region dies off a little bit. We did study first, second, and third tier locations in Syracuse, Market, Rochester, so we've got a generally a good idea of how it's going to lay off comparing it to there. You don't know exactly.
That was gonna be my next question. In the scheme of things, which this is, third, fourth, location in the area.
This is one of 3 right now that we're pursuing in the capital region that are all kind of to hopefully start construction next year.
Okay. All right. Anybody have any questions on this one? Dave?
Did this, comment review on the traffic go to DOT? Did they get a copy of this?
They have not got a copy of Great Marion memo. I still don't have any feedback from our initial stage 1 2 submission to DOT. I can provide this, or I can provide them our response memo at the same time we submit it for the town.
I just wondered, I probably would like to see at least the comments on the
So that's okay. We should be ready to respond next week, so tomorrow I get Gordon's update on the traffic study, and we'll submit the full response comment to both the town and DOT. We still haven't heard any initial feedback.
You did receive the comments, I assume, from the fire company?
We did, and that was also noted in the traffic engineer's memo. No problem addressing the comments that they have. It will be responded to as well in the next go around.
And where are you concerning the zoning board of appeals with your variances?
Sure, so we attended the August meeting with the ZBA to provide an update on the requested area variances we originally presented to them in July. We worked with Chuck in his office, going through the fine details, outlining exactly what variances were required. We presented that in August. They accepted the revised application, and actually they're waiting an invite from this board for a joint public hearing.
What additional plans do you see coming to the board in the future here soon? Drainage plan, I don't see any site details.
Yep.
Right.
So our next submission will be full engineering drawings that lighting, landscape architecture, drainage, utilities, public drainage study, narrative, outlining the secret standards, sort of the full package. Yep. But just wanted to get kind of the parking lot nailed in before we get signed on those final drawings.
Does anybody have any questions on the parking lot? Meaning the east portion of the area.
I mean, there were some comments from Craig Manning on the queuing on Chick-fil-A. Questions like, is there a bypass lane? Which I'm assuming you're going to address and you'll respond to these comments.
Yeah, thanks for bringing that up, because that was also in regards to the eastern drive-through. So they had asked the question to the town, is a bypass lane required? My understanding is no, it's not allowed, or it's not required in the town, but it could be considered in that situation. So here, you can get out up to this point. Here, you can always escape here. But once you're on the side of the building, this is a pickup only window, so you don't have cars sitting there ordering. You've already ordered ahead, you know you're navigating and getting money for the meal. So I feel like a bypass lane here with additional pavement would be unnecessary. And then here for the Western Quick Serve Restaurant, you do have a third lane bypass lane here at the order point. And then it merges to two lanes will be utilized at peak periods for meal fulfillment. We'll pull cars ahead in both lanes, wait for their meal. So essentially past this point, there's no bypass. In the case of emergency, they could certainly pull one lane through to clear to get a car out, should they need to. You've already placed your order, you can pull those 4 or 5 cars into the parking spaces to get that car out in the case of emergency. Thanks of other quick serve restaurants, along this corridor don't have bypass lanes.
Okay, then, obviously, we need a few additional drawings that you had mentioned before we can really determine whether the application is complete for a public hearing. So sooner we can get all this package together, the sooner we can schedule a joint public hearing with the ZBA.
So really, the detailed outstanding item is really the drainage study. Is that necessary to hold up the public hearing for? What I hate to do is get too far down the road and then have some changes based on public input. Is it sufficiently complete to schedule that hearing to keep obtaining public input, or no, we should wait and get the additional.
Refer to Wayne.
Yeah, I think we need to wait until we have a complete package. 'Cause I still have to review it. If there's any changes in the site plan based on that review, then it should be available for the public hearing.
Yeah, and I would also add, we know traffic is going to be a significant issue on the project. And we've had the independent assessment of your traffic report, and you mentioned it earlier as well, but so did Craig. I think that comments from DOT are going to be critical on this. Though I haven't received them yet, we did coordinate with them on the lead agency. We didn't receive a response, to my knowledge, from that agency. Comments from DOT on this layout are going to be critical, and I think we should have those for review by Wayne, by Craig Manning, and the board, so that we can understand what DOT's comments on this plan, including the improvements along Hoosick Road, are, so the public is aware of that as well. I think that's going to be important. It certainly will be required for this board to make a secret determination on potential traffic impacts. We will need that information from DOT, and it should be available for the public too, part of the public hearing. You agree with that, Wayne?
I do.
Yeah, that makes sense. I don't know, Chuck, maybe you could help us. I don't know if you're the ones who distribute it to DOT, maybe just a follow-up or helpful, because they're not really responding to us. But
I don't see where they respond to me too well either, but I'll try.
Or maybe a joint effort that would be followed, then that would help us.
Regional traffic engineer retired. He's not there.
Got the rest of it?
The region, his boss,
Oh,
Mark, schedule.
we're doing guy today for us.
Yeah, guys, for one.
So guys overall because of that. Got it.
All right, to keep this moving, I would assume that you probably want to be on our next meeting agenda.
You have two in September, so is that?
Yes, we do. We have one on the
21st.
21st.
So before we schedule the public hearing, sounds like you want Wayne's review of the package. We get that in next week. I'm not sure if that would give you enough time to review it before the
I
21st.
can review it to the degree that I could deem it complete,
To start the public hearing.
but some of the other information needs to be done as well.
So let's pencil it in, and if we don't have that information back, then we can push it to the 1st of October. That'd be great if we could pencil it in right now.
That sounds reasonable. And for your record, the 5th of October is the first meeting. Okay? All right. Thank you for the update.
My pleasure, thanks for having me.
Okay, next. Brian isn't here, okay. Next on our agenda is the Golden Green Pizza.
Good evening, Dave Costa. My apologies for being short night tonight, but unfortunately, I had my dates mixed up. Again, apologies for being late. And my dates mixed up with over next week. And we've been working on this, trying to get the information that Wayne requested, but most importantly, we've been working on parking. And we think we found a solution by having a neighbor block this lot right here, which is 90 feet by 90 feet. It was awful. Exactly. Mr. Rock, and we were purchasing it, and we've been working on doing some layouts there, and we can sort of add some parking to that lot, and do away with the parking space here, parking space here, and also parking space that way. That's been a huge development since the last time we were here. And it happened recently. So hopefully, the board will. I didn't get a chance to color this, but just so. And again, I don't have enough copies to distribute to the board members, but basically, this lot right here, we've shown, it's 90 foot wide by 90 foot deep, so we have 60 feet of pavement there, and we have 3 parking spaces on each side. Obviously, if it needs more, you can do some additional parking. That comes off, but we think it's a good solution. That those other spaces are challenging.
How many are you gonna have there? 6?
6, so we'll have a total of 17.
Okay. And,
We can do more.
now, the only issue I have is basically a pedestrian safety issue about going across, what was that street?
Oh, no, yeah.
Oneida, excuse me. Now, that's a town road.
Yes.
I think you might have to coordinate with the town as far as getting, pedestrian, walkway crossing. That's what I would suggest.
Yeah,
Lane would,
there is a crossing, that Cruiser can run out at, but we can certainly. Yeah.
but is there sidewalks going up to it?
No, there are no sidewalks.
So I would say you would probably want to get over to your
Yes.
site as easily as possible without having to worry about going up the side. Oneida all the way up towards Hoosick Street.
That's
Okay. That's just a comment I made. I think that can be, I think the town would be receptive to that. Wayne, do you have any comments on the additional parking?
Certainly, having that parking over there, it's easier to get in and out than,
Right.
than getting in and out of the front. It could be, all it needs is a sign, pedestrian crossing sign. I don't know necessarily you need striping that we can look into that. Oneida doesn't see a lot of traffic, but enough to warrant some kind of warning that there's a pedestrian crossing there.
It is not a deeded roadway, Oneida, so to do sidewalks, it would be on, private property. I just looked at, oh, I'm sorry, hold on a second. It's under Otsego. I'm wrong. Strike that. Yeah. It was under Otsego's heading, so Otsego and Oneida are deeded.
You certainly plow those streets.
Yeah, we still plow it.
Directly across from that lot, is there good access? It's not where that bank drops off? Is there,
Yeah.
right, like people don't have to walk up into the road in order to get into a good place to enter the site?
They would have to walk, Wayne, either this way or this way. There's about a 5-foot elevation difference between, Oneida and White.
So would you propose to put
We could.
a walkway there?
Yeah.
I think you're gonna need something, because you don't want them walking the
No.
road.
Do you intend to install lighting in this additional parking lot,
In this additional parking lot,
one across the night?
we could do that.
And what are the hours of your operation?
Where are the hours? Yeah.
Time 10 a.m. to 10 p.m.
10 o'clock,
10, 9, 9, and 10.
then the lights are out?
I'm not sure. The light, under the parking lot. Yeah, they would go off.
Everyone has some kind of.
The lighting regs are such that if the business is not in operation and it borders a residential area, which this is, then the lights have to be shut off after business hours.
In the way the parcel, the topography is, it's flatter and then it goes up towards the residential. At the rear, they would never see the lights. When the lights down lines, just shining the parking lot, not be down.
So the max of the poles is 15 feet.
That's the big amount we're gonna get, so
Yes, that's right.
and that doesn't need any excavation. Wouldn't need any excavation.
It probably will, when we look at it. The house used to sit up a lot further up in the direction. Maybe when you remember.
Yes.
The KO used to live there.
Yep.
And when the house was taken down, some of that knob was taken down too. We haven't even had a chance to do the project, so we'll have that.
That will be linked to the other parcel. Hopefully, because in an R9, you just can't have parking. Parking has to be an accessory to something.
Yeah, we have to be merged to the other lot.
I don't see no issue. I don't see anything. First, that's the purchase of that.
That's the first step.
I think the main issues we had was the parking and
Yes.
circulation of the traffic and so forth and so on. So it appears that you have a very viable, solution to that. As far as getting some final drawings on that and some topo, to be able to have those by our next meeting?
The 21st, maybe?
The next meeting is on the 21st.
We have the updated EAF. When you want it,
Okay.
we'll get that. But we've been focusing on this. So, yeah, we'll have the drawings ready.
I mean, once again, we obviously have to have a public hearing on this. When we have a complete package together, we can schedule a public hearing.
So we'll update the drawings.
And I'm sure you don't want to be on the same public hearing as Chick-fil-A. All right. Yeah, the sooner you get all that together, we can review it and have that package complete for the public to review. So I can put you on the agenda for our next meeting. Does anybody have any additional questions? I think the only issues we had with the site at the time were the parking. Is there any issues that I have omitted?
But there was no topo on the site plan, and we asked them to do some topo so we can see what the grades are.
Okay.
That'll be on the updated site plans.
Okay. Okay, if there's no further questions, I guess we're all set. We'll see you on the 21st.
Very good. Thank you.
You're welcome. Okay, is Brian here yet? Okay. So we're gonna move to number 4, the Golden Special Use Permit.
Got a lot of goldens.
Yeah. Yeah. All right, we received, Chuck, your plan. I didn't see anything, as far as a problem with that.
The kitchen area is over the mudroom. So the mudroom is the first story is shown to the left.
Okay. Anybody have any questions on this?
You're adding a bedroom,
It's all there.
it's all there.
The only thing that's not there, and I plumbed and wired for the kitchen, I just didn't put the kitchen in.
said the septic system's not that old.
Oh, 11 years. I updated it when I moved in. Hard to believe we've been there 11 years.
Based on the number of bedrooms that are in the house now.
It's a 3-bedroom house. That's what it is still.
Any more questions?
To have a public hearing.
We have to have.
Yeah.
You're gonna be the first one to remind them for the public hearing. We will. I think we have everything that's complete enough for public review. Is that correct?
There's enough parking on.
No, plenty of parking. Yeah, so. If we may just have one respite worker to come in and help with meals and stuff.
Okay.
How big is your lot?
Oh gosh, it's an acre. Yeah. Yeah, that's where the old barn used to be on the left-hand side. There's
So
plenty of
the
parking over there.
existing lot is 1.06 acres.
Mhm.
185 feet deep. All right. And we can schedule you for a public hearing. And that would be
October 5th, right?
October 5th. That's right. Okay. I don't think there's any reason to be, you don't need anything updated or anything for us to do here before that.
Get the mailing list out.
Okay. And it will be duly posted. Okay. I guess we're all set there.
Am I it? You're up. Let's put it that way if you want it. Do you have any questions you got?
Pitchtown must have ran late.
Well, there was a bunch of issues that had to be checked into regarding the wetlands and things like that. Whether the required frontage on Langstaff Lane was actually viable with the wetlands.
It's not wetlands, it was a retention basin
Ah, okay.
right there. And I think you said at the last meeting, could that be moved? That's just what Brian did, he chose it being pushed from here back to that.
You had trouble with the 100-foot setback from the.
Pardon?
You had trouble with the 100-foot setback from the DEC,
That's the 100-foot buffer right here.
and your road's not in that.
The driveway's way over here. So he shows this with the driveway being totally on that parcel, and then room here for a future driveway that'll probably never get built, but if you ever needed it, it'd be there.
Maintained for your house.
Yeah, you need that for your house.
I mean, there's questions about this manhole out here. That is, it's an old, I think when they did development, they put a sanitary sewer system in, but it's never been hooked up to anything.
I was in the detention pond after the last meeting, there was water coming out of the pipe.
Here,
Now there's 2 pipes. There's the one that comes in that you put in that's up high,
yep,
and then there's one down low, and there's water coming out of both of them.
yeah.
So that, I don't know what that manhole on Langmore Lane is, but there was water coming out of that pipe.
This right here, like I said, you can find these throughout the development. Like here, you're in the street, they, like I said, I think it was Al Kaninsky Senior, when he put the development in, they had sanitary sewer, but it's
They also
never
had-
existed.
They also have catch basins for stormwater.
The ones in the center of the road, I don't know what your system is, but I'm pretty sure ones in Little Road were set up for sanitary, but.
There was water coming out of that pipe and it
Yeah,
headed
so-
down towards Langmore Lane.
So there's a catch basin here. I looked at the old plans. They called for just a culvert pipe to go under that driveway. So when Tom and Joey built the thing, I don't know if that's truly a catch basin, a yard drain, or what it is, but they ran it that way. So that stuff would wind up down in here. We located the pond. It's not like I'm suggesting they do away with it.
No. That pipe's gonna have to be carried out.
Yeah, so if you take this, he shows it, this being basically a swale down in here, and then the pond. So all this would go right down into it.
I was surprised that the tension pond is like at this elevation and then like on this side, it's, 3 feet or whatever. This side, it's straight up.
Yeah, I think when they took this,
It's
they
10,
kind of,
12 feet there.
they pushed the property, when they kind of leveled this, they just pushed it that way.
Hey, which way you say the water's flowing in that 12-inch pipe? Towards the pond or away from the pond?
Towards the pond.
Towards the pond. The pipe he put in is up pretty high, 5, 6 feet. And then the pipe that the pond was apparently built for,
That's the high one.
you built the pond?
Yeah,
So both the 12-inch and the 18-inch, both feet from the pond.
yeah. And 18 inch is the one that was originally put in when this first subdivided.
That culvert goes a long way. Typically, you don't like run that rough that long.
All I know is water coming out of both of them. The higher up one was the one that was behind those houses that you had scared. And the lower one I thought came with the property we bought, but one must have. But
Like I said, that was, that was actually, that pipe is down here. That picks up the stuff coming off of Joey's property.
Not too late.
Wait until you get mine built.
just the time to save them.
Why is he sinking?
Now, you have this map here. I don't recall getting this map.
This was something that Brian had kind of redesigned, just to show everybody that, yeah, you can get the driveways in, you can do whatever you want.
This is, option 2. There's,
I think we got it in the email or something.
there's a bunch of copies there. Want to give you-
Thank you.
Hold on, you see fit, Dave. There's one for you and mine. I got 2 here.
You can answer all the questions.
All right.
Thanks, Jeff.
Andy, were there any other issues that we were trying to find an answer about as far as the location of the driveway on town property or something?
No, that's become a non-issue. You have frontage on
Okay.
public right of way. The issue raised was absent plan B, the revision. The
Okay.
fact that there was a physical impediment to getting access from that 15+ feet of frontage.
Okay,
That's been addressed with the revised plan.
all right. Now this all makes sense. And this is a waiver, right?
Yes.
Wayne, do you have any questions on this?
Probably.
Okay.
How long now is that run of 12-inch ADS from Langmore Lane all the way back to that old swell? Is the scale, Brian?
What's the scale and when?
And I'm gonna be honest, I know it comes out of here and I know it goes into there. Whether this is the exact path it takes or not, I'm not exactly sure.
I didn't install that, and,
Yeah.
I don't know anything about it.
Brian, could you show us which one
Sure.
he was talking about?
Sure. Wayne was asking, there's a 12-inch ADS pipe that comes out of a catch basin. When Mussolini built his house on this lot 4, he put a catch basin in here to just catch water coming off the front. And there's a little swale here, and there's a 12-inch pipe that goes out of there, and it goes all the way to this pond that was always there that caught the storm water that comes along the backs of these lots.
Okay.
So it's that 12-inch ADS that lays right there.
And your question is, that's an awful long run for 12
Well,
inches?
there's another issue in that that catch basin is in the public right of way. So that really is the maintenance jurisdiction of the town, correct? What happens when that pipe gets plugged and it backs up? Who takes care of that? It would be the town.
Yeah,
They can only get to
right. I think
that
what,
circular piece of the,
I think what we're proposing to do, Wayne, is because we're extending this pipe, is to extend this easement, have an easement over basically this whole swath. If you can see my other phantom line here, and a small easement around the pond. So this easement will come in, this easement will come in. We'll just set up easements around all those drainage facilities.
what is the topo from here back?
Pretty
Is that
flat.
all front?
It's flat, but it angles down this way.
Kind of angles this way
Towards
towards
this
the
wetland.
wetland?
Yes. Yep.
So 30-foot wide drainage easement around the 8-inch ADS, that's maintained by the town?
I believe so. I believe that was an easement that was on the previous subdivision. Yeah.
The easement's there in case they have to
Right.
get in there.
Gotcha.
Well, there isn't a requirement on a waiver to topo, is
But if we want to see what the grading is there, and the drainage and the topography, we can ask for it. Or we might just think about looking at it. This isn't a typical waiver, I don't think. Maybe some significant changes.
How much of the, you said a proposed culvert extension, how much of the actual pipe extension is it? There is none, right? We're just talking about creating a swale to bring it down. So you're not adding anything more to an existing pipe, right?
We we wouldn't be adding any more to that 12-inch pipe. Maybe, we would probably add maybe 15 or 20 feet to that pipe, just so that it had adequate clearance for that proposed driveway. Is that-
It looks longer in your revised drawing.
It is, it's a little longer. It's probably 15 to 20 feet, maybe one more section of pipe longer, just to get it adequately out of the way of that big wide driveway going in. And then it would be open ditch. And the 18-inch pipe that runs along the back of the lots, we're proposing to add about 55 feet of pipe onto that run. To get that under,
Just to clarify something, the
Yeah.
more bolder double line is where you're proposed.
yes, Russ.
Okay.
The boulder is the newer
Okay.
or proposed.
How are you gonna bring that 18-inch down?
It's really
Pretty high now,
yeah, but the driveway will go up in there right over top of it, I think.
but you gotta get it down to that swale. If you're gonna go in where that 12 inches, and that's gonna open out into the swale, and your 18 is up about this high above the swale, are you gonna taper it down, or are you?
Yeah, we'll
gonna-
probably taper it down. some.
Underground?
Yeah.
Because you don't want that water dropping. from
No,
feet
you want to
and
catch all
up.
that water, yeah.
I don't know what the length of the proposed driveway is gonna be, but it looks like you're getting into, for 150 for a fire access road. Is 15 foot your maximum width? Would you be able to widen that out a little more if need be?
You gotta be, what, 16 and 2
Maybe
3-foot
16 and
gutters?
2 or 2-foot shoulders. But you need 20 feet.
That's what I was thinking, not knowing.
I'm
what
showing
the length-
15 and 3 shoulders. Is that not right?
Could be.
One for the fire
I thought it was
access road
16
should be
and
20.
16 and 2?
I thought it was 16 and 2 3-foot wing gutters.
And 2 3-foot.
Yeah, it's easy enough to look it up.
Say that again?
I think the town shows 15, 3 and 3 for shoulders.
Okay.
How long is your proposed driveway?
Depends on where they put the house.
Yeah.
Right there, it's 440.
So that's like the closest. And you gotta have what, turnoffs and? you gotta
Yeah,
have
we'll
to-
have to have a nice big turnaround up there.
No, you got to have a turnoff, right? So the trucks can
Oh,
get
so
by.
it-
So you get one by the other.
Oh, vehicle passing? All right.
I mean, there's
There's plenty of room up there.
a couple of pages on it, so to get it right.
All right. Does anybody have any questions?
Chance to review this one.
What's that? Say again?
I would like to have a chance to review this one.
All right.
I mean, a little, you're building drainage structures, pond, swales, this is, I know right now it's conceptual, but it's gotta work,
So are you requiring, are you suggesting that in that section that we have at least topo on that?
Well, topo is some kind of design, if this is gonna be in an easement, for the town to maintain. You know what I mean?
Andy, do you have any comments on that?
Certainly, under the subdivision regs for waivers, you have the discretion to require information you need to make your decision. The essence of the waiver is it gives you the authority to waive certain requirements on the subdivision application. But if you need that information to make your decision, you can certainly request that. Wayne's earlier suggestion of getting to the site and doing the site walkthrough, I think is advisable.
Who governs this, like, after this is subdivided? That sometimes someone's gonna have to say, okay, before you build, your driveway has to be whatever, is that the building department?
Yes.
Yeah. So I mean, before whoever gets a building permit and, starts building CO and everything, they're gonna have to conform to all of this.
And if in that conformity, if it's a 26-foot wide roadway and the planning board's approved 15,
Right.
that's a problem.
Right.
That's why I was asking, do you have a little bit more room to spread the width of the roadway? I can grab the, unless we got a copy of it here.
Is there a general consensus on the board that, following Wayne's suggestion that we have a little bit more information on the drainage issue and the detention?
Well, isn't there a history of some drainage issues on the end of this?
I thought, again,
I just want a little bit of time to investigate. I'm just trying to protect you from.
I understand that. No, but I mean,
This is something undoable.
is this something you can coordinate with Brian and State?
Yeah,
All right.
I'm pretty busy.
Yeah, well, we could meet or might, if you want.
Yeah. While we do that, why don't you coordinate that site visit? You want to let me and the board know about it? You can participate if you want. All right, well,
I'm pretty busy.
And if members are gonna go out to the site, it should not be a quorum. So 3 members or less.
okay.
Is this it? I mean, last time we brought up some questions I think we addressed, and now we're bringing up more questions. I just want to make sure that we got everything we need, so it doesn't go on for another meeting and then another meeting.
I understand. I understand.
Well, this is
I
a
think
great
that's what
plan. We haven't even seen this yet.
Change the design.
Right, well, all we did is we addressed everything that was brought up at the last meeting. Russ was one who said that, hey, chief, why don't you move the pond back? We moved the pond back and showed the driveway, so we addressed everything that was asked of, that's all.
You changed it, I don't know if you addressed it.
All right,
You changed the plan.
I mean, we can go back and forth on this. I think.
no, I
I
just,
think we all agree. I understand
I'm
where
not
you're
trying to
coming
hold
from.
anything up,
Yeah,
I just saw this 5 minutes ago.
right,
I think we ought to give Wayne the opportunity to take a look at this, and I think for the benefit of the board, that we, possibly have some of the board members go out there and visit this with either Brian or Wayne, and so everybody's pretty well happy with the whole thing before we move forward. And like Wayne says, we just got this tonight. If we had gotten this maybe, a few days ago, and we had a chance to take a look at it and have some.
Well, in fairness to me and Mike, Chuck's had it for a week.
I got an email with it in an email, and get a
Yeah, I
printed
mean, I have his
copy.
email form, but I had submitted a proposed revised drawing.
Right. This is what, your second meeting here?
Yeah,
I mean, we're not, the first meeting, you throw it at us, and then we have to respond. I mean, basically, we could have just said, show us what you got, and then done all this stuff today. So we didn't do that. Last time, we gave you, shooting from the hip, what we had. We did talk about the length of the driveway and the fire apparatus stuff.
All right. We're gonna put you on the agenda for our next meeting. Hopefully, we'll be able to visit the site. Wayne will have an opportunity to take a look at it, make sure what you're proposing will work.
Yep.
And we'll go from there.
Maybe we ought to have Bill Bradley take a quick look at it as well. We got, involved in, town drainage system.
Who would coordinate that?
I'll get it done.
Okay. Yeah, let's take a look at it. I know he's familiar with that area out there.
Well, gotcha.
Yeah.
When we were initially looking at it, I asked the question, why did the 18-inch area have the 30-foot easement and the 12-inch didn't? And he said he didn't think that the 12-inch was installed by him, which evidently was true, so.
Okay. All right, and we will put you on the agenda for our next meeting on the 21st.
21st.
All right?
And someone can get hold of me to visit the site or?
Or do you want us to go through Brian?
Whatever works.
Yeah, call me, I'll let you know, Mike. If you can be there, great.
Yeah. Yeah, I
If
just,
not, I'll go meet with whoever. And show them,
I think we're trying to, the two of you, I want to get one person there. Right?
Yeah.
Okay.
absolutely.
All right, we'll do it that way.
All right, good.
All right, all right.
Anything else?
I'm all set right now. Anybody have any other questions? We'll see you on the 21st.
Perfect, thank you.
You're welcome.
You'll take that copy for Bill, Brian? Do you mind, or do you have an extra one?
Yeah.
Get one from one of the members?
Yeah.
I'll give you mine.
Sure. All right. I'll make a copy of this right now and get it back.
Thank you.
Give it to my wife.
You're welcome.
Okay, all right, sounds good. I'll get you in there.
Okay. Is there any new business?
No new business. I do have something for old business.
Do you have something for all?
I do have something for old business. The group that has the storage units in the in Clum's Corners area, it's about across from the school, are coming into the planning board for, I'm sorry about that, coming in for the town board for a zoning change. They would like to have a zoning change because they'd like to add more units. I don't have a lot of copies of this, but you can see what happened was the orange buildings are allowed. The brown buildings, he never got approval for.
Where's the chunk?
That's the old storage across from the shed guy? Old shed. Yeah. Across from the high school.
High school?
Like, had no-
Thing like that. He doesn't sell sheds anymore.
No, he does not sell sheds. It's a new company. All they do is sell storage.
Wasn't he have units over on this?
He wants to
this
put them,
property
he
line?
wants to put them along there, along the, what would be the left side or.
And the chocolate brown ones aren't approved?
They are not approved, no. No, he came into the planning board, he did 3 meetings, and then
Those are storage containers.
just asked, I forget what the official word was, but he retracted the application. It never showed up again to the planning board, but these showed up right prior to selling. Another company came, didn't do any due diligence on it, and purchased the property, and now they would like to increase the amount of storage they have on it. And they already have a bunch of illegal storage on it.
Well, those are all storage.
Storage containers?
Storage.
Those are all storage containers. They're all modular. Come in on a flatbed, drop them off. We've had questions. The board requested that they have the floodplain delineated. And as well as I asked them if they still, because I was looking at the 2008 approval, and one of the resolutions of the 2 was that they should have in the lease agreement that you may likely, have your storage material flooded. So I don't know if that's still in their lease agreement or not. There's a couple owners from the country of Colombia, and I asked them to provide me with a copy of the lease agreement, see if that was still in there. But I don't know how to pursue this.
I'm still going back to the original statement you said that they were going for the town works for zoning change.
Yeah, because they're in a hamlet and they can't,
this is now under
this is the
zoning.
hamlet, right? Yeah, and in a hamlet zone, you can't have self-storage.
That's why you get the big money.
I keep telling myself that.
All right. And we should, it's not before us yet, so,
No, if it ever will be.
okay. All right. Anybody have any questions on that or want any?
You ever seen Miller parking on his land?
Yeah, I think he's aware of that, yeah. A lot of times that, when you do the layover, they don't run really well. You can see the division of Route 2 here, how this line ought to come up a little bit, so it's not as bad as it is. Maybe it's only half a bus. Not a full bus, but, and it's the same thing over here, that he was supposed to follow that. I was talking, I guess that he's the gentleman that spends most of the time at this facility. And I was talking to him about the swale along this side and along the back, and he didn't seem to know it was even there. He said that he doesn't get much past the weeds that have overgrown on the edges of it. So that's in the town board's queue, and maybe it'll come this way.
Okay. And just as another old business, the courier.
Oh,
application,
yes. Hopefully you guys got all
That's
those.
been withdrawn.
Yeah.
That's the
Yeah,
one
that's been
on
officially
Oakwood
withdrawn.
Avenue for the, daycare.
We may still have that parcel to deal with because we've got calls about a car dealership that would like to go in there, a wholesale car dealership, so.
All right. Mr. Bolson? I received your correspondence, and I don't think there's anything this board can do right now. Andy will tell you that. Can't come before our board until the other problems have been resolved, and that's with the building department and so forth and so on. So if you'd like to.
Well, just briefly, it was in front of the board in June of 2022. And I know attached to Mr. Wilson's letter were the minutes from the June 2022 meeting. And they reflect the building department determined the application can't proceed with an existing stop work order violation. And the board adjourned the application without date. And I don't know that that was contested or appealed, that determination by the building department. I certainly have no information that the building department's going to reconsider that. So I'm not sure there's anything for this board to do. That was determined by the building department in June of 2022.
What property?
This
This is the property that Mr. Wilson owns, 63 Indian Creek Lane.
63.
Indian Creek Lane, off of Tamarack.
the application that he was looking for a waiver of subdivision, basically was a lot line adjustment. And when he came before this board over a year ago, there was a stop work order on that property, and we were told that we can't proceed with any other types of applications or anything on that property. So It was just tabled, basically. I don't think anything has changed since that day. That hasn't been resolved, is that correct?
That's correct.
So I understand, you know, you put a lot of time and effort into this correspondence, but there's nothing we can do at this point.
Are you concerned at all with the language in the correspondence?
And I'm not sure I understand what you're saying.
Are you gonna respond to it or to the letter as requested? I asked for a written citation, if you could, cite whatever laws you're gonna adhere to. To either continue on with the application or stop the application. So I'll repeat that the determination, the minutes from June 2022 reflect the determination by the building department. And at this point, there's nothing for the planning board to do. That determination remains by the building department. It's really a building department matter. It's not my understanding that the building department is looking to reconsider that, but that again is a building department issue. It's really not a planning board issue.
Is it fair to assume that the planning board does not have to respond to it?
You acknowledge the receipt of the letter tonight, it was discussed. The minutes reflect that a determination was made by the building department.
Okay. Is there any other business? We'll just review the agenda for our next meeting. The Hart waiver subdivision, the Marie's Muse LLC site plan,
I'll list that as tentative.
that's tentative. And the Golden Grain Pizza will be on. Hopefully all that information will be put forward so we can schedule a public hearing on that. And the final item, the Golden Special Use Permit, is scheduled for a public hearing on the 5th of October. So there's 3 items currently on our agenda. One of them is tentative. Am I missing anything?
I think you got it all.
Okay, then we will, I will make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
Second. Any further discussion on that? All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you.
Did Walmart go to the town board yet? Was it Walmart?
They have.
They have.
They did file an application to amend